Welcome to the return of KWOD-ZAP. What is KWOD-ZAP? KWOD-ZAP is this state of mind. It merges KWOD with KZAP. KWOD was an alternative station from Sacramento, and KZAP was a rock station, also freeform from Sacramento. So I grew up with KZAP in the 70s. Just as a quick summary here, because we already discussed this in the first episode. In the 70s, I read about media mind control, and I started getting interested in media, so I ended up majoring in communications in college at Sac State, and part of what I studied was media exploitation of the masses, not so that I could brainwash people, but so I could learn what it was to make sure I wasn't being brainwashed by the media. Then I wind up in the media, and that was a good thing for independent people, because you see, I worked for an independent station called KWOD, and we weren't subjected to the corporate rules of media brainwashing that dictate how people listen on a regular basis. You see, the goal of radio, and I'm not going to talk too much about the structure of radio because I know that bores people who have never been in the business. Although the people who have been in the biz, they're just hanging on the edge of their seats. You know, the less than 1% of society. And they're in love with radio because it's like a disease. And you ask people, why did you get in radio? And they'll say, well, it's a lot of fun. And it's something that feeds people's egos. For me, it was like I wanted to share with my community things that I had learned and philosophies that I thought were positive for society, and not just what it meant to me. Okay, so I was also public service director when I started out at KWOD, so I interviewed a lot of local community leaders, and I really loved that type of work, doing interviews. Turned me into a talkaholic, which is what I am now, huh? Anyway, what I want to talk with you about as we lead up to a song that I wrote about media brainwashing is media brainwashing. What is it? Where does it come from? Why does it exist? Why can't we live without it? These are some of the questions you may be forming in your mind right now. Well, media brainwashing is a part of conditioning, you see. And it all kind of started with research in the advertising industry way back in the 1920s to figure out what would it take to get people to keep on listening to radio programs, because that's when radio kind of emerged in the 1920s, at least as a commercial medium. And you know, there was that radio show called War of the Worlds in the late 30s, and that was basically a brainwash experiment to find out how much you can fool society with a radio program, because they wanted to find out how powerful the medium really was. Yes, it was part of a research project. And War of the Worlds, of course, was a novel that came years earlier by H.G. Wells, and people listening to the radio program couldn't even figure out it was that novel that was being acted out. It was kind of a radio drama. They actually thought Earth was being attacked by aliens. So that's what we learned. You know, I say we, like I'm part of the conspiracy. It was way before I was born, in the 1930s. That's what the radio biz learned, and also broadcasters in general. They learned that, yes, you can fool society if you're clever enough with your programming. There's that funny word again, huh? Programming. What does it mean? Well, have you been programmed? Maybe it's time to be deprogrammed. That's what I'm here for. That's really what KWOD-ZAP is about, to help deprogram you. Because chances are, if you believe the garbage that's on the charts is actually anything more than a bunch of commercials to hope that those records sell, then you have been brainwashed. And if you believe that the radio station that you listen to all the time actually plays what the DJ wants, then you've been brainwashed. If you believe that you can call a radio station and request a song and they're going to play it next just for you, you have been brainwashed. And if you believe that everything you hear on the radio is actually a hit, you have been brainwashed. Okay, a lot of that's just promotional marketing garbage that they hope will become hits. And they hope that if they keep repeating it over and over and over again, you'll just say in your mind, oh yeah, that's a hit. It's familiar, so that must be a hit. It's on the radio. It must be a hit. Just like all these junk food restaurants are advertised on the radio, so they must be legit. That's what brainwashing is all about. To connect repetition with familiarity to the point that it leads to acceptance of social norms, to where you walk out of your house and you see strip malls everywhere and you see these awful junk food places, and you just tell yourself, oh yeah, that reminds me of the radio commercials and TV commercials I've heard. And you don't see too many independent businesses around, do you? I mean, they don't advertise much on the radio anymore. Ever since the Telecom Act of '96 ruined radio, handing all those mom and pop stations over to big biz. That's exactly what happened. I'm not making this up. It's not a conspiracy. Anyway, the corporatization of radio really sucked the soul out of local culture. Now all you get is national programming where one station sounds the same as any other station in any other city. You know, it's just a bunch of awful commercials. And it's all that upbeat stuff, you know. They don't want the jocks to be too exciting, so they make them kind of bland and boring. So that the commercials stand out as more exciting, you see. That's what they're really selling at, is the commercials. That's how the radio makes their money. And that's how the game of brainwashing is played. Now, you probably never thought of it because your job is not to think of it. In fact, you're supposed to just not question anything you hear on the radio. You're supposed to just suck it in and think it's all real. But did you ever wonder, like, why they play the same songs over and 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 over again? You know, just compare that with brainwashing. What is the essence of hypnosis and brainwashing? It's repetition. Because if you say the same message over and over and over again, people will start to believe it. I think Hitler knew this. He said that the bigger the lie, the more people will believe it. And through repetition, it makes that more true. It's just, you just keep telling people the same lie over and over and over and over again. And then after a while, people just assume it's true. They've been conditioned, you see. They're numbed by the repetition to the point where they just accept it. So, you ready to be deprogrammed? Well, I've got the perfect song just to do that for you. And I just happen to be the songwriter of this song. It's about media manipulation, which is the same as mind control, which is the same as social conditioning, which is the same as, you guessed it, brainwashing. So here we go, an exclusive song that you'll only hear at this time on KWOD-ZAP. It's called Level-Headed Penguin. It's about how people conform, even within the media, they conform to the brainwashing standards that they take out on society. Through repetition, they're hoping people will keep tuning in, keep believing that the garbage they're playing is popular and relevant, and that the commercials are legit. But I could tell you that it doesn't work. In fact, two of the biggest beer companies in the United States, they are billions in debt. Where did all that money go? They spent it on media advertising. It just proves it doesn't really work since they spent so much money on it. So there is hope that you're not going to be brainwashed every time you turn on the radio or turn on the TV. Flower power now. If your show comes on TV,